All right, we're talking about the fail-proof pricing formula, and I love talking about pricing. We actually were just talking about this morning during our coaching call with my private clients. And part of the reason that we hopped onto that topic in the first place is, kind of talking about when you get started with your coaching business, there's a lot of information that's coming in. There are people telling you to price high ticket. There are people telling you to just, choose your hourly rate and everything in between. And what I've found and what I've discovered and what I share with my clients is there's a point where you will sort of take everything else in. And then there's a point where you'll essentially trust yourself and basically learn to choose your pricing based on what's inside. And if I can help you get there at the very start, everything goes so much easier because you have like a happy price, right? There was an article a couple years back that started circulating around where they started talking about freelancers and their happy price, and that if you don't charge your happy price, you're still going to do the work and you might actually get more work than you even need, but you're not going to be happy, and therefore it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to charge your happy price, which is your rate that you're excited and ecstatic to do the work for. And even though you might get less work because maybe you're priced a little bit higher than other people, you're actually going to enjoy what you're doing, and therefore you'll be able to produce better work. Now, from a energetic standpoint, I 100% believe in this. I believe that if you don't charge what you're supposed to charge, and we'll talk about how do you know in just a second, but if you don't charge what you're supposed to charge, you're going to show up, you're going to do the coaching, you're going to do the work, you're going to get on the calls with the clients, you're going to deliver your courses or whatever. And then as soon as that rogue email comes in where someone's like, I can't log in and so I want my money back, you're going to be like, screw it all, I quit, I don't want to do any of this. As soon as that rogue client says, hey, you didn't do what you said you were going to do, therefore I want my money back, or whatever, the frustration or that statement is, you're going to just want to give up. And it's because you didn't start with the price that you're meant to charge. You didn't even charge what you wanted to charge in the first place. So you're like, why am I doing this? I'm not even charging what I know this is worth. I'm not even charging what I want to charge, and I'm still having these problems. And so there comes a point where you really have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what that means is choosing the price and choosing the rate that truly lights you up, that truly makes you feel excited to deliver what you're delivering. And the reason that I say that it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable is because sometimes it's higher than what you would normally charge. So the very first time that I priced my private coaching services at $10,000, I was freaked out. But I had gotten to the point where I knew that what I was delivering was worth $10,000. I knew that I had a mental block to charge 5 figures in particular, that there was can I, should I, am I worthy? There was this energetic block for me to, even put that $10,000 price tag on there. But I knew that that's what I wanted to deliver. And I had seen clients that I've been helping, even though I was fairly new, I was only a couple years in my coaching business when I changed my rate up to 10K. I was fairly new, but I was seeing the results that my clients were getting. And that's one of the first things that I want you to start paying attention to is look at the results that your clients are getting, not just tangible results like lost 10 pounds, met the love of their life, made $10,000. Also look at the intangible, how do they feel? How has their confidence changed? What sort of things can they do now that they weren't able to do in the past, or do they feel like they can do versus what they were able to do in the past? So start paying attention to those results and really start locking in on that as well. And so I started looking at that and I was like, okay, well, I I can just throw the number out there. Like, I'm not dependent on the next client. I had already gotten to that point where I didn't feel dependent on clients to earn money. You never need to depend on clients to earn money. Your source is not clients. Your source is not Facebook ads. Your source is not someone depositing money in your account. Like, that is not your source. So once you get clear on that, it does make it like you feel a lot lighter. Like, your source is, we're talking about pricing. Okay. I know I try to get into the next topic, but that is not your source. Okay. So once you get clear on that, it makes you a lot lighter. So I was very kind of open with it. And I said, all right, well, let me, I'm just going to throw 10K out there, and worst case scenario, they say no. Like, who really cares? Like, I already know that this coaching income is not, like, I'm not dependent on the coaching income, even though the coaching was paying my bills. Okay. So I hope you can understand that distinction and that difference. And so the next client that came along, they were like, hey, I'm ready to work with you. This is what I want to do, and this is what I want to create. And I said, okay. I said, well, and I really I kind of put them through the ringer. I was like, well, there's a lot that we're going to have to work on. And I really want to make sure that you're serious. Like, I want to make sure that, this is just not a hobby for you. Like, it needs to be, basically, like, I wanted to make sure that this was the right client. And once I determined that, I was like, okay, well, the investment is 10K. And I did provide a special deal. I was like, if you, make your investment now, I think I brought it to 8K all in, or like 9 with a payment plan or something like that. And I was like, when you make your decision in the next 24 hours, this is the special offer that you get. And she was like, okay, let's do it. She was like, let me figure out how to pull the funds together. And we made it happen. And every time I changed my rates, it always showed me that there was more available. So when I started out, I was charging $800 for a coaching package. And I was helping clients, and I was like, this feels really good, but I know that I'm only one person, and I want to create a sustainable business, and $800 is not enough. So then I bumped it up to $2,000, and I was like, okay, this feels good, but it's still not quite there. So then I bumped it up to $33, and I felt really good there. And I held it there for a little while. And every time it was more so of my energy shifting rather than the digits on the screen or the number that I typed in on the computer or on the invoice. It was my energy that was changing. And then I got my energy behind 4,500, and I felt really good there, but I didn't stay there very long. I stayed there for 2 clients. That was it. And I was like, my energy is ready to shift again. And I jumped all the way to 10K from 4,500. And so it's not necessarily about your offer or your marketing or your, how the size of your email list. Like, the energy behind your pricing is 80% of it. Okay. It's 80% of it. If you can stand behind that rate and you're firm in that rate, you will attract the person who is ready to get the results that you can help them get at that rate. Okay. Exactly. Courtney says you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. 100%. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is, and I feel like that's one thing that I've absolutely grounded myself in. And, from like a mindset standpoint, and when I'm doing my own personal mindset exercises, which, my mindset practice has evolved over the years, and it looks different than what a lot of people talk about, like, doing specific activities. But it's what works for me. But one of the things that I've done through that mindset practice and what I've done is really ground myself in that belief of if it's not you, then the next person. And, when I talk at the very beginning where I was like, I manifested my husband, that was where that first started. And I just got to the point of it's going to happen. It's already locked in. I've already decided that I am meeting my perfect person, my spouse, my mate. And all I'm doing now is trying to figure out how am I going to be surprised and delighted along the way. So I was still dating. And then, I was putting all of my effort into it. And, obviously that came with some broken heart, right? Because you can't hold yourself back and expect to engage with all of the other person. So I had my heart on my sleeve. But I got to that point where I was like, okay, fine. Like, I didn't cry very long. I was like, okay, great. If not you, then the next person. If not you, then the next person. If not you, then the next person. Like, I got to a point where I just didn't care. I was like, it's already locked in. It's happening. Therefore, it's either you or someone better. And I'm not going to get stuck on you, the person that's in front of me right now, if it's revealed to me that you are not the person. Like, I really did not care at that point. And so that has been my belief since then. And that is what I took on with me into the coaching arena. Great question. So I'm going to answer this question in two ways. So the first way is just direct answer to your question. So that was an 8-week coaching program. And the second is I'm going to answer the question beneath the question, which is, what is it really worth to someone to work with you? Does it need to be a long program? Does it need to be 12 months? Does it need to be 10 weeks? Does it need to be 6 months? Like, let's put it in perspective. And so answering that question, it doesn't matter how long the program is. It's about, for me, like, if I were to hire someone and pay $30,000 and I could get my result in a week, I'd rather pay $30,000 for a week-long program than $30,000 for a year-long program. And so as coaches, like, we're working in transformations. We're not working hourly or by time frames or by, amount of hours logged. That's an employee. That's how an employee works. An employee works by a number of hours logged and, how long are you in the office, your 40-hour week or whatnot. But we have to get out of the mindset of trading hours for dollars as a coach, as an entrepreneur in general. Like, as an entrepreneur, your goal is impact. Your income is directly related to your impact. So your pricing is supposed to be based on your impact. If you can help someone get an impact in 4 hours, that should be priced higher than a 4-week, right? So that's the answer to the question underneath the question, which is, it's priced based on the impact. So $10,000 is the impact. I knew that it required 8 weeks for me to reach that impact with clients that I wanted to reach. With some clients, I was able to get them to the end goal within 6 weeks. But typically, after working with client after client, I realized that most people couldn't move as fast as I wanted to be able to move them through because, people have life, they get discouraged, then they need a mindset reset. And then, they have to work with other people so that they have to wait for stuff to come back. So there were things that I knew that were going to be on the path and in the journey. And that's why we did 8 weeks. But it's really about the impact that you can help someone achieve and how quickly you can help them achieve that impact. So I hope that answers the question for you. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's kind of talk about the actual the formula, right? Because that's what I titled this, the Failproof pricing formula. So I want to give you a formula. All right. When I start with, we can start with high ticket and then we'll go to low ticket, because my formula for pricing low ticket is a little bit different than high ticket. So my formula for pricing high ticket is impact equals income. So what I do is I look at results. I look at what I've been able to help my clients achieve. But let's assume that you're new and you haven't necessarily started working with clients. what I would start with first is the impact that they want. So what is it that the client wants? Do they want to, lose 15 pounds? Do they want to make six figures? Do they want to meet the love of their life? I just kind of chose the three main areas: health, wealth, and relationships. And so figure out what is the thing that the client wants. Then what you're going to do from there is determine what is that truly worth in terms of things that they're currently paying for. So tangible things they're currently paying for. So let's assume that, the person who comes to you and who's like, I want to lose 15 pounds. Let's go with gain 15 pounds. I hate always talking about losing weight. So the person who comes to you, they're like, I want to gain 15 pounds. And you're like, okay, great. So what are the tangible things that you think that they're spending money on that they actually will get to stop spending money on now that they have reached that goal of gaining 15 pounds? Well, let's assume that they're underweight. And so they are spending money on, going to a chiropractor because they don't have enough fat cushioning their bones, for example. I'm just making this stuff up off the top of my head. And so now they can actually potentially release going to the chiropractor. And that was costing them, $200 a month. I don't know how much it costs to go to the chiropractor, but let's assume that. So now you're like, okay, I am going to help them get this impact. We're going to help them gain 15 pounds. They can stop going to the chiropractor. It's costing them $200 a month. You're not just saving them $200 a month. You're saving them $200 a month over their lifetime. But let's just take it to a single year. So that's $2,400 in a year, right? 2 times 12 is 24. Add the zeros. That's $2,400 a year. If you were to just price your program at $2,400, you only would be you literally could price it there, taking into account what they're able to get rid of right now. And that's just at the base level. That doesn't mean you need to work with them for 12 months. That means that you've provided them with a 1-year impact. You've only measured out a 1-year impact of this one thing. So now do you see how once you start grabbing all of the other things that they potentially can stop paying for, how the price just keeps going up and up and up and up. And this is just in the 1 year. Let's assume that they're paying for, weight gaining supplements, and those weight gaining supplements are $50 every month, right? So 30-day supply, $50 a month. So if we take that times 12, that's another $600. So now you're at $3,000 of impact just in 1 year. Now expand that out. Well, now that they've gotten your help, the next 5 years have just been completely changed for them. So let's take 3,000 multiplied by 5. That's $15,000 worth of impact. And all we've done is look at 2 things that they can remove from their life now that they have your transformation. And so that's why when a client comes to me and they're like, I want to charge $3,000, and I look at their transformation, I'm like, oh yeah, you could definitely be higher, but okay, let's start there because that's where your energy is. That's where your level of belief is. That's fine. But do you see how when you actually get into the formula and taking the tangible things, how your pricing makes sense? It actually has something to balance it out. And this is where marketing comes in, where now that you know the marketing, you understand that you can speak that, you can say that to the person. You can say, well, what are you paying for right now to help you gain weight? Oh, well, I'm paying for a weight gaining supplement. And then I'm going to, where other areas of your life are affected. Well, I'm going to the chiropractor right now because, I'm having issues with, my bones or whatever, whatever it is, right? I just made those scenarios up. But as you have that conversation, now you're clear on, oh, I'm going to help you over the next 5 years, say $15,000. If I can help you save $15,000 over the next 5 years, would you be willing to invest $3,000 to make that happen and to also get that time back where you're actually at the weight you want to be? It's a no-brainer at that point, right? But you have to be able to create that formula and think about all of those tangible things. And then from there, we also throw in the intangibles, like how you're going to look, how you're going to feel. This is in the same example, right? So how you're going to look, how you're going to feel, that ex that left you because of XYZ reason and how you feel after that. That's really what people pay for, is the emotion side of it. But now you can justify it logically as well. Okay. Sorry, let me go back to the comments. Meredith says, my clients want to get pregnant. I hate saying like that's an easy one, but like that's huge, right? For someone who like really wants to get pregnant, have this bundle of joy in their life. And like, how long are you willing to wait to get pregnant before you'll, take my advice, right? And that's what you're saying, Meredith, right? Before you'll take my advice, how long are you willing to wait to have this bundle of joy in your life? 3 years, 5 years, they could be in kindergarten by now. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yep. So they're spending money on supplements, junk food, fertility visits, pregnancy, and ovulation costs. So take the time, like tally all of that up. And once again, like add up the averages for year one and then extrapolate it out to 3 years and 5 years, because some people will wait 3 to 5 years with a thought that something they want to achieve in the back of their mind before they actually will take action. You absolutely could. And there are people who do what you do who are charging $10,000 plus. Okay. Coaching women on how to start a girls' mobile spa party bus business. Yeah. So that's essentially a money offer. So you have to dig deeper into those women who want to start that specific business. Why do they want to do it? And what's underneath that desire? A lot of times people are like, well, I want money. I want to make 6 figures. I want to, fix my budget, or I want to earn more, whatever it is. But there are underlying desires underneath that. And usually it comes back to like a one-word thing, like freedom, power. Like, what are those things that they want? But once again, you're going to tally up, okay, what are the things that you're spending on? Because you don't know how to open a mobile day spa party business. Like, you're spending money and time on all of these things, and you can eliminate all of that just by purchasing my coaching program or whatnot. Okay. All right. So that is the first thing. And yeah, Mark, you can absolutely post it in your group. If you own the group, or if you have permission from the admin to repost it, of course, I appreciate you sharing it out. All right. So now let's talk about pricing for lower ticket, because that's how I price high ticket. So high ticket, I look at tangible, intangible, add everything up, put it out there, and then I choose my happy price, and I do that. So like when I was pricing the Path to 6 Figures, when my first round of pricing it, I priced in happy price, intangibles, tangibles, and started running with the program. Then after administering the program and realizing that I needed to bring on additional staff and, pay out, some more overhead here and there, the investment had to increase, because I'm not going to delete my happy price or diminish my happy price, right? So we got the happy prices baked in on top of everything that needs to get outsourced and all of those things, on top of what you're helping the clients achieve, tangible, intangible, and all of that. Okay. Okay, great. I teach women to overcome their insecurities and fears so they can become confident and live a purpose-fulfilled life. Love it. And on that, you've got the intangibles there, right? So overcoming their insecurities, overcoming their fears, giving them confidence so that they can live a purpose-filled life. And then we got to think about, well, what are the tangible things that come as a result of having all of that? So now that I have a purpose-filled life, like, what can I do? And once you have that answer, it's usually in one of the 3 areas: health, wealth, or relationships. That's where you can start tallying up the tangible costs. All right. So for low ticket stuff, I do my formula for pricing is just a little bit different. Okay. My low ticket pricing formula is actually based on like a paycheck to paycheck type of pricing. So the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I forget the actual percentage, but it's more than 50%. What that means is if your paycheck were gone in 2 weeks, you would have a hard time handling your current bills and expenses. That's what that means for the majority of Americans. And I feel like some things have changed, and a lot of people have started waking up after, what happened in this, in 2020. But even with that awakening and realization, it takes time to put a plan in place. And so for me, that realization was when I got my first job, and I was like, I know I don't want to work full time for the rest of my life. Like I see myself as an entrepreneur or CEO, but I need that freedom, right? So freedom was the word for me. And that's when I put together a plan and started putting together a plan to start getting rid of all the credit card debt that I had at that point. I had a car loan, and I got rid of like $22,000 worth of debt because I knew that I wanted to start giving myself freedom. So regardless, that's another story for another day. But knowing that, having that knowledge and knowing that for my audience and the people that I'm attracting, they're looking for a way out of something, right? They're not necessarily looking to get into coaching. They either are already coaching, or they already know that this is what they want to do, or, something that they're trying to, maybe doing on the side. But for the most part, they're looking to get out of something. They're trying to get away from something. So they're either trying to get away from their 9-to-5 job. They're trying to get away from living paycheck to paycheck. They're trying to get away from being dependent on someone else. They're trying to get away from never having enough money to go do fun stuff. So there's things that they're trying to get away from. So my pricing for my low ticket stuff more so has that in mind. And when I say I price it with the idea of paycheck to paycheck, I usually price for my low ticket stuff. It's the amount that you really don't have to double check or think, like, do I have enough to spend this? It's your disposable income. And if we were to think about it, like, on average, people go out to eat a couple times a week, or, have Starbucks or some sort of coffee or something like that here and there every now and then. So it's that amount of money that would maybe, if you wanted to tighten up your belt, would maybe just require you not to go out to eat this week, 2 times, so that's essentially where my pricing lies for my low ticket stuff. So for that, for me, that's like $100 or less. Okay. So that's kind of where we are for low ticket. If I'm doing something that I consider mid ticket from a low ticket standpoint, then we're looking around up to the $1,000 mark. Okay. But generally, when I say low ticket, when I'm talking about low ticket, it's it's $100 or less. So we're talking about, $20, $50, $100. And it just depends on the offer and what's included. So that's kind of my starting point. Okay. My starting point is looking at that no-brainer price, right? The no-brainer amount that you can just pull out of your pocket and say, okay, I'm going to take a chance on this because I'm trying to get away from these things. Then from there, I look at the content that I'm offering and how lit up and excited I am to offer it. What other supplemental things am I going to be creating? How much energy is it going to require? What am I going to do? So for example, Passive Income Summer School, it's priced right at $100 right now for the live classes. And then for the recordings, it's higher than that. But that's because I'm showing up live 6 days, every single class. I will be there live and teaching and answering questions. And there's no set time for that class. It's just however long, the training goes, plus however long the Q&A goes. And I have a happy price for showing up and teaching live versus something that I'm going to do pre-recorded. And so when I think about that and I think about the low ticket, I that's how I do my pricing. Now we're actually going to talk about in Passive Income Summer School in module 2, I think, or 3. Hang on, let me pull it up. Either in module 2 or 3, we're going to be talking about when it makes sense to do sales strategies. Okay, actually module 5. So we're going to be talking about the strategy to launch your passive product, getting testimonials, writing sales pages, setting up the membership area. I'm sorry, module 4. How to price, when to use flash sales, discounts, and coupons. So that is, Yep, here it is down here, module 4. And I'll go through and break down the pricing that I do for a live stream versus a workshop versus a mini course versus a module-based course. And then also how I name them and all those things. And then I'll talk about the strategy for like flash sales, discounts, coupons, because even when I do a low ticket offer, like for example, we sent the text message subscribers got a significant discount on it, which means that if they bought just the live class, they paid less than $100, right? So there's lots of different ways that you can structure your pricing, and we're going to be talking about all of that. So those are essentially my pricing formulas. The high ticket one is, like I said, tangible, intangible, happy price, plus the price to deliver and fulfill, and that's pulled together into the pricing. And I'm very firm in the pricing and the investment because I know the results of what comes from that. And then my low ticket pricing is designed to reach the person who is trying to get away from something and they still haven't quite jumped all in, right? The way that the high ticket person has jumped fully in, and, they need help on, one thing here, maybe one thing there, and they're, squeezing it in the margins. And I honor that and I respect that, because there was a point where that's exactly where I was. And I purchased a course, and I purchased a lot of little courses here and there so that I could get to this goal that I had and get away from, being in my job, which is what I was trying to get away from. Cool. Any questions or thoughts on that? Dana says, I coach Black women all around unhustling their lives and slowing down. Love it. Hustle has turned into a badge for a lot of people, like a badge of honor. And it's not necessary. My husband always laughs at me because he's like, how many hours did you work today? I'm like, well, I get what I need to get done in the time that I have allotted. I can squeeze a lot in. Awesome. I'm excited for passive income school as well. So one thing that you guys definitely want to do is go to LaTisha.tv/free. Make sure you're on the email list. You can download any of the free things that are there to get you on the email list. And the email with the special pricing is going to be going out this weekend. I think I'm going to send it out. Not this weekend, next weekend. Passive Income Summer School starts on July 11th. So on that, basically that 4th of July weekend is when the special pricing will go out, and then it'll also expire. So when you see it, jump on it, because it will expire. All of my special pricing options do expire. We don't just leave it forever. Okay. How do you measure client results? Are there tools? Yes. So let me answer this question, and then we'll close it out for today. The way that you measure client results is, one, ask them ahead of time, what results are they looking for? So give them their own measuring stick, and also let them know that, okay, great. Well, these results are what you said you wanted, and these are also your responsibility to work towards. And then at the end, you ask them again, how do you feel you made it towards your goal? Now, if you're doing something that is even if you're doing something that's like gain 10 pounds, lose 10 pounds, make 6 figures, this, that, or the other, none of those, as a coach, you can't guarantee any of those results, right? Like, unless you have the ability to like suck fat out of someone, you can't guarantee any results when it comes to that, because there's just so many different variables. And so you have to make sure you're careful about that. And also from a legal standpoint, I believe that it's not legal advice. So don't listen to me on this. But I don't believe that you can guarantee it from that standpoint either. So the way that I measure results, and how I like to do it with my clients, is like, we always start with goals. I'm like, send me your goals at the start of the program. So let me know what your goals are, what you want to create. And I'm going to touch and agree with you, and we're going to work towards it together. And then at the end of it, like, how do you feel your progress is towards these goals? If you're interested in having some feel good time, then head over to my YouTube channel and look at the client results playlist. These are candid conversations that I've had with clients after. Most of the time, I don't know what their results are. I just get on a call with them and say, hey, we're going to do success calls so we can talk about your results. And a lot of the times I'm finding out with you as you're watching it, finding out what their results were. And I'm usually blown away because, sometimes you believe that something can happen, but when someone actually applies everything that you told them to do and like all the stars line up, it's really cool to see what's been created. Okay. All right. Good. So thank you so much for joining me today. I don't have my outro memorized, so that's what I'm doing. I'm looking here. Okay. If you want even more, then go explore my YouTube channel at LaTisha Styles. And while you're there, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications. I broadcast every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you have more questions on today's topic, just leave them below this video. Let me know if these are actually helpful for you. You guys, my energy like goes up and down each and every day with each and everything that I do. So I really do appreciate the feedback that you provide. And when I see the comments later where you're saying like, yes, this was really helpful. I really do appreciate that. So please let me know that this is helpful. Come check me out on Instagram, follow, say hi. I'm going to be sharing a lot more from my journey of manifestation. And I've got a lot of cool stuff in the works as well. Until next time, remember that your dreams deserve your decision and you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. So go, dream, decide, do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. Bye.